Let's go.
Baseline.
Yeah. Uh. Yeah. Rock. Yeah. Uh. You know what it is. Porch Podcast. Right. Porch Podcast. 102. Porch Podcast. Here we go with the Porch Podcast. Back again. Episode 102. Coming through sick like I got the flu. But I'm fully healthy. Back with it. Influential is the illest. Stack with it. P Original on the other side. Cut dice, still the squad on live. Yeah, I'm from down the hills with chill. Trying to get them dollar bills. At will, I will kill anything in my way from the pill. Let's get back, let's get to it. The Porch Podcast, we flow like fluid. Why? Cause it's the Porch Podcast, come on, huh? The Porch Podcast, yeah. And it's the Porch Podcast, come on, wow. The Porch Podcast, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Welcome to the Porch Podcast. Welcome to the Porch Podcast. It's your boy DJ E, Mr. Influential, and I'm rocking with my brother, man.
P Original, baby.
And this episode right here is episode 102. Let's get to it. 102 episodes in.
Yeah. Rolling right along, man. 102, man. And
Rolling.
you know, not only are these episodes rolling, but the year's rolling.
Right.
You know, in December now. It's amazing. You know, I was sitting here thinking about it the other day. I mean, you know, you're not oblivious to when the calendar is changing, but sometimes, like, you know, certain holidays, like we talk about all the time, and the weather changing and things of that nature starts to make you realize, like, wow, the year really flew by.
Right.
So, you know, with that being said, man, I've been doing a lot of prep work in my thoughts in terms of what's getting ready to take place in the next year to come. I won't actually call them resolutions, but I'm excited about what's coming next in terms of the year.
Right.
You know, I'm energized. I'm ready to grow and develop and keep building on what we got going on here on the porch. And just, you know, I'm like I said, man, I'm pumped up, man. Psyched up, man.
As you should be.
How you feel, brother? How you feeling that 2022, even though we got a little bit of it left, how do you feel like it treated you so far?
2022 was great. 2022 was great. I think we was getting back to some full normalcy. You know what I mean? After coming from the crazy year of, you know, 2020 and 2021. 2022 was a big year for me. I got married. You know what I mean? Clap it up for that.
Clap it up for that. Absolutely.
Besides that, you know, I just focus more on business itself. You know what I mean? Like the porch, influence entertainment, just expansion and growth. You know, I pretty much got my mind in the right direction. You know,
Right.
with the help of, you know, mental health. I mean, mental health is a big thing, and when, you know, I want to speak on that for a second. When you talk about mental health, it's not like,
Absolutely.
you know, we got to get out of our community, our culture, and believing that when a person seeks help for their mental health, it means that they done lost they shit, and that's not true. That's not true. It's more so about no. No. Listen. Let me explain what I'm saying. I know what I said and how I said it because I'm speaking of myself. Okay,
Right.
I seeked help
Mm-hmm.
with my mental health.
Got you.
Okay, in our community, when we talk about somebody say, "Yeah, I want to go talk to somebody. I want to see a therapist or something like that." Let's be honest. The people look at you and say, "Oh, you're not crazy." That's how a lot of people react. You understand what I'm saying? And it doesn't mean that. You go to the regular medical doctor for yourself to get a checkup, to get a physical, right?
Right.
You go to the dentist hopefully to get your teeth cleaned and check it out and all that. So when you go get just somebody to talk to get you in the right mind state, you know what I mean? Because it's a lot of things out there. It's a lot of things out there, man, that is good for our mental, and it's a lot of things that is bad for our mental.
Right.
It's so many things that we go throughout the day that triggers anxiety, which triggers stress, which triggers bad overall health.
Right.
You know what I
I
mean?
agree.
You know,
Absolutely.
you did a challenge, bro. That the 75 hard. You know what I mean? That was this year.
That was this year.
That
Yep.
was this year.
Yep.
You
Started in
had to
March. Yep.
you had to have the right, that was a big mind shifting thing that helped your mind state. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
put you in a great position. Me and you the other day was just sitting back talking, and we was looking at videos from early videos of the porch.
Oh
And you
yeah.
turned around and you said, "Damn, I was big." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Remember you said that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I threw that iPad in the trash too.
That's what I'm saying, right? But you get what I'm saying. You hit
Yeah.
yourself with that,
Yeah.
and you had to be in the right mind state, in the right mind frame, to be able to stick to the 75 hard challenge, which actually became a life changing event.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, that's what I mean about mental health. Like when you're not in the right mind state, it doesn't mean, I'm not saying if you sit there and you gain weight that
Hmm.
your mind is in a bad place. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying
No.
is, in order for you to make a life changing decision or life changing step, you got to have pretty good mental health.
I agree. I
That's
agree.
all I'm going with it. I know how I
Yeah.
might
Nah.
have sounded, but you know.
You know what? Yeah, at this point, man, it's you just being who you are in your truest form.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it leads me to something that we had a discussion about before too, right? Because it's something like you said that is often um, looked at from a what they call it's like an eye when a person is being judgmental. A lot of the things that take place, we look at the finished product or something, right? Like when we see a person do something and they're having some struggles or some battles with certain things, we have this thing in our mind that, it just got there magically, not realizing that there are things that take place that cause different stresses and reactions to certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think sometimes when we're doing certain things in our life, when they change, we don't give them, how can I say, the energy that it requires. Sometimes I think that we think things are just going to always haphazardly happen. And just as easy as something was cut on, it's cut off. And it's not the case. Sometimes you need help with certain things.
Right.
And one of those things is sometimes I think we take things for granted.
We do.
We take a lot of things for granted in the sense of, you know, having those relationships with people that you don't know how long you're going to be able to be here on this earth or around that person or whoever. And we take it for granted. I think sometimes, things are so easy or
Right.
appear to be so easy that we undervalue them,
Mm-hmm.
right? And value is one of those words, depending on the mindset of the person, they can look at it from a monetary perspective or another perspective.
Right.
But value, is attached to everything.
Right.
Everything has a value. You, I, our time, our resources, our purpose and our reason for doing things. Everything has a value.
Right.
So one of the things I think that I definitely want to make sure going into this next year that I don't do. Not that I feel like I do a lot of it now, but I'm not perfect and I always stand can work. I can always stand to work on some things. Is being better and making sure I'm not taking things for granted.
Right.
You know, working on those things, making sure that I'm consistently, you know, investing into myself. My mental health and well being. Um, that's going to be big, I think, in my growth and development in the year to come. And as a matter of fact, I can't see how it's even at all possible if I don't focus on it,
Right.
making sure I'm not taking things for granted. You know, is it easy? I think it's easy to take things for granted sometimes because we live in a time and we live in a reality where everybody gravitates towards the easy way to do things.
Absolutely.
So I think when you gravitate towards the easy way to do things, you take for granted what hard work can actually do for you and the benefit from it.
Right.
So I mean, like. I'm just trying to think, man, about anything that I've taken for granted in this past year that I know that I have to address. And honestly speaking, man, time. I've taken
Time.
time for granted.
Time.
I've taken time for granted. You know, picking up the phone, reaching out and speaking to more people that I need to be speaking to. Um, just time building.
Right.
Whether I'm working on myself or working with other people.
Right.
That's the main thing that I've taken for granted. What you think, bro? You got anything in particular you think that you have been taking for granted? Like it's hard to talk to other people unless you're going, address yourself first. You know what I
Um,
mean? But
a lot of
you know,
times you hit it on the nail because the most valued thing in the world is time,
right.
and so I can honestly say yes. I feel like I've taken time for granted a lot. Um, the one thing over these 4 years, uh, they were necessary. You know what I mean? I think before, and I'm
Hmm.
saying why I said the number four. 4 years. Cut to the chase, as you know. Me and Pete both lost our mother in 2019, but she had became ill at the end of 2018, around this time, 4 years ago. Um, and I was talking to P, off air because we never off lines because we ain't on them. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
um, that the day she entered the hospital, you know, I didn't know that was it. That was the last time I was gonna be able to hug mom in the house that we grew up in. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Hmm.
Or sit there and laugh with her inside of the house that again that she raised me in as a young kid. So we take moments a lot of times for granted because it's just common. It's something we used to. Not saying life ain't happen. Not saying you're not going to get upset with people with things. Not saying anything of that nature. However, you know, we never know the outcome of things. We never know what's going to be next. See what I'm
Right.
saying?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
up until recently, I understand that you gotta make every moment count, man. Like your goal on the daily should not to be ever be able to be. I'm not saying people don't have the right to be upset, but to hold a
Right.
grudge with somebody or something because you just don't know when it's the last time, man.
You right.
You just don't know this was the last time. Like, don't take that moment for granted. I guarantee you, a lot of times when people and they feeling, you be like, "Hey, yo, man, just let it go." Why I gotta always be the bigger person though? It's not
Hmm.
about you being a bigger person. Like, do you want your last memory to be this way? And a person to turn around and be like, "Of course not." But right now, that's just what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean.
You understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm not saying be a pushover, but what I'm saying is cherish every moment, man, because we can't get no. What I just said, I can't get back.
Literally. Yeah.
Literally,
And
that's how much we take time for granted.
hmm
You know,
yeah.
so
I mean, time, opportunities. I told you about a situation, bro, that was offered to me, and part of our discussion with that was, you know, my feelings on being, prepared for that. As sticklers of, if you don't gotta, you don't gotta get ready. If you stay ready, you know, sometimes in life, once again, the most crippling factor that we have in our minds is, we have this abundance of time
right,
and these abundance of opportunities. Like there's things that have come my way or come your way, and you look back and there's things that you're glad that you didn't pursue, and then there's other things where you say, "Wow, I wonder how that would have played out."
right,
It's a very thin line between taking things for granted and then and then having this, amazing, you know, um, ability to be psychic. Like we'll give ourselves credit for being psychic. I knew it was going to turn out that way. That's why I ain't do it.
right,
Even though deep down inside, while it was going on, you kind of silently not rooted that it didn't work, but there was a part of you that if it did work, you was kind of going to have to you was going to kind of hold it, you know, over your own head, so to speak.
Right.
You know, I think the more that you become aware of what your opportunities are and you become more aware of how much control or you create them, I believe that you start taking things less for granted when you start to focus on building whatever you're trying to build for yourself, right?
Absolutely.
So, like, I think things are taken for granted, and there's this kind of, you know, how can I say, parallel between, those things running in terms of taking things for granted and things being easy.
Right.
Like, I think that they always kind of similarly, to me, they kind of run in the same arenas, in the same area. Like, most of the time when you look at a person and they do things effortlessly, it's funny. I remember people, man, we was coming up, there was athletes and they were good and they
Mm-hmm.
didn't take the sport seriously. They kind of did it more as a hobby than anything else, but they were exceptional at what they did.
Right.
It probably was their opportunity to be able to put themselves in other situations, and they didn't pursue it because they didn't value it at the level to actually use that as the vehicle to get them to where they possibly could have actually done more.
Right.
Did they take that opportunity for granted? What opportunity is, but did they take the gift for granted? See, we take opportunities for granted. We take gifts for granted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could turn around and see a person today and be like, you know what, man, you are awesome in that. Why don't you pursue that? And they'd be like, I don't know, man. I do it when I feel like it.
Right. Not realizing that it's a gift. It's a God given
Yeah.
gift.
And
And
they're taking it for granted, in my opinion.
right, a lot of gifts that God has given to us is, they're there for a reason. You know what I mean? So I get
Yeah.
exactly what you're saying, bro.
Yeah, man. Just gotta, once again, one of the best places to look and one of the hardest places to look is a mirror.
Mm-hmm.
People are looking in a mirror for vanity to see. Sometimes they look in it for vanity, and then sometimes they look at it just to, they don't want to look at it because of them not looking the way that they want to look.
Right.
That's the thing about it. It's like we as humans, we almost anticipate that we won't make every shot that we take,
Right.
right? But Zig Ziglar, like I was saying before, made a statement.
Ziggy.
He had a quote, and he said, "You, you're basically, if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it 100% of the time."
Right.
And it's one of those things where, to me, like when you start like really valuing things,
Mm-hmm.
because to me that's the opposition of when you take something for granted, you don't always value it.
Right.
It comes so easy. Like I've seen people like don't work hard until they have to,
Right.
and you say to yourself, like you fully capable of doing that without being up against the wall or being backed into a corner. And why don't you do it? And a lot of times they kind of like just throw it to the side.
Right.
So, I'm just of the mindset, like I said, getting ready to conclude this year and going into the next, you know, just trying not to take things for granted. Just working on being, I don't have to be a new me. I just need to be one who understands my abilities, recognizes my talents,
Right.
you know what I mean, and takes, full advantage of those gifts that we were just talking about and really implement them into what I'm going to do, what my next phase of what I'm going to do is going to look like.
Right.
Me and you
Like
talk about it, building influential entertainment, like just a
influence,
lot of different. I mean,
influence
oh,
in the time.
I, I said your first name
Yeah.
instead of the actual name.
Yeah.
Influence entertainment, and just how
Influence.
your
Just want you.
mindset is just wired.
Just be an influence. That's all it is. Like I know exact. Like as soon as this episode is over tonight, I got some stuff to work on that I got to get together. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I'm with you. I'm with you, big time.
yeah. You got any tricks that you would use? Nah, better word, not tricks, because you are Merlin. But not from the trick perspective.
What kind of tricks you talking about, man?
All right, so I'm gonna say this, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I believe we live in a world where hocus pocus is a tool to help people. Like people believe in magic more than they believe in
Do you
themselves sometimes,
believe in magic?
you know?
Uh-huh.
And I think when you try to be helpful to people, because you can't give everybody the same kind of encouragement. Like, You have to find a way to be able to get a person to see it. If I was talking to somebody that was, let's just say, in high school,
Uh-huh.
my approach needs to be a certain type of way because my objective is to keep them from, I almost say from blowing time.
Uh-huh.
But you get excited every time. Every
No.
time it comes up
No.
remotely. You know what I mean?
No.
But I was going to say anybody that is in a high school, time period of their life, you know, I would want to have that hocus pocus effect on them. I would want to have that quick moment of clarity on them. I would want to say that thing that makes them go, "Oh, I'm on the clock and I already messed up." Not to feel like they tripping out on themselves. Oh, I messed up, but to feel like it's important to start right then because of the
I know
time that
exactly what you're saying.
you understand what I'm saying?
Not to cut your wisdom, but
Nah, but what would you do?
people at you know at our age that we are now. And it's funny.
Mm-hmm,
I was at Home Depot the other day,
mm-hmm,
picking up something I need to get, and
mm-hmm.
lady came to the sub. I was buying something. She was like, "Are you 18?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Man, I wish I could be 18 again." She said, "Man, you." She said, "You know what's crazy? I go back to about like 13. Most people be saying I'm crazy. And I wound up having a 20-minute conversation with this lady, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was running down certain things in her life. So what you basically saying is, you know, a lot of people in their high school, because high school is really when it starts to kick in when you really think you know everything,
Yeah.
but you don't really know shit, right? You really
Mm-hmm.
think you know everything, and you feel like it's cool. Like it was almost like when we were in high school, and I'm sure it's still like this today. People think it's cool to be defiant. Now, don't get it wrong. You want to build character. You want to build character. You want to build yourself. You don't want to always be like I tell my wife all the time. Listen, when we graduated high school, I was most outrageous, best sense of humor, um, uh, most popular, and most friendliest. And whenever I
Mm-hmm.
say friendliest, she be like, I always think that's the weirdest thing in the world. But why? Because we related in high school, friendly people, to be soft or something. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Unfortunately.
yeah, or if they do everything the principal or the teacher told them to do, you
Right.
know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They the goody two shoes. When in all actuality, that was proper training for you to be later in life to kind of try to understand how life go. See, the one thing that I guess the hocus pocus trick that I could try to teach a kid would be, and I know where you're going with it too, because this is gonna be something that you're gonna use. Um, damn, I kind of forgot it right there. That picture.
Yes. It's so magical.
I forgot the
It dis-
motherfucker.
it disappeared out of his mind. Oh, it works. It works. I know it
That's
works.
Merlin. That's Merlin. That's
He
Merlin.
said, he said, and I know you're going to probably use it because and
Nah.
somebody and somebody unplugged the
Basically,
controller on it.
basically, you gotta go with the
Phew.
game. You gotta teach them poker, man. You gotta know when to hold, know when to fold, but you gotta be able to talk their actual
Yeah,
their actual
that was
language, bruh.
that was
Like,
that. Po.
papa, papa, papa. You know what I mean? Shout out to all
Man,
my
bro. I
yeah.
don't want to start it. Nah. Nah. Chill, chill,
Nah, what I'm saying
chill.
though is this though. What I'm saying is this. You basically you gotta make them understand like the game of poker. You know what I mean? Know when to hold, know when to fold. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
the one thing kids always tend to understand when they're in high school is certain areas. Uh, music,
Mhm,
um,
mhm,
fashion.
mhm.
So I'm not telling you to go in there and rap.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
go in there looking relatable,
yeah. Absolutely.
right?
Nah.
And
Yeah.
guess what's crazy? You could look relatable almost dressed in the suit, but if you notice, a lot of people come in now. They look presentable. They may have a blazer on, white tee under there. They might have you watch the team and dress like Zach walking in the room. See what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean? That's how a lot of
Yeah.
people look. That's the style. So it's like they still seeing somebody they related to. I remember when LL said he first signed a deal with Def Jam. He came in doing the show dressed like Rick James. You know what I mean? With the, with the boots and everything, right?
You know,
And Russ was like,
L,
nah,
L, but L could do that and get away with it because he was
yeah,
LL.
yeah. But Russ was like, nah, man, be yourself. So then when he had them and then he had Run DMC as well, they looked at him like, these brothers look familiar. Like, I know these guys. So you got to be
Mm-hmm.
relatable, right? So
Mm-hmm.
basically, you teaching them to understand that education is important. College education is important as
Mm-hmm.
well. But everybody's just not college material. And that's something that we got to understand as parents, that we got to know the differences with our kids. Not
Mm-hmm.
saying they don't have the opportunity or get the opportunity to get higher education, but if little man is getting all C's and not even handling it in high school,
First off,
why would you pay 20,000?
okay, you
Like,
might want to
it's
start off
mess.
by actually calling him by his name.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Well,
You
not
know,
some people stick with the nicknames, little man. But
I'm
I
not
just
mad at none of that. We
yeah.
keep our nicknames and everything like that.
Lam- Lamont, okay, ain't nobody named Lamont. Little
What's
Taquan,
Lamont out there? Yeah.
yeah.
There's a
At that,
couple of
it's 14-year-old, 15-year-old Lamont speak.
What you eat? 50-year-old Lamont had to be 1 year old Lamont
Yeah, but it's
first, man.
dated. We talking about
He
today.
ain't get his name.
I
He ain't
bet
get
you
his
it ain't
name
no
when he turned. It
and
wasn't like
Goose.
for his 40th birthday he became Lamont
Nah, I'm
after
just
being
saying.
with
I get what you
Lil Terrell
saying.
all that year. Yeah, all right.
I'm just saying this shit. Like me and Goose said. What happened to the name Scotty? Ain't too many Scotties that was that was born in the '90s. Scotty Miller for the
You're right.
Tampa Bay Bucks. That's about
Yeah,
it.
most of them are pretty good. That's the thing. First off, I think you earn certain names.
Yeah,
Everybody shouldn't be named the same thing that's another thing. You're taking the strength of a name for granted.
yeah.
Like you can't name everybody certain things. Like this is, like what's a real strong name? Like Mustafa,
Muhammad is a strong name.
Muhammad. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
These are strong names.
Listen,
Even Malcolm.
Malcolm.
Malcolm's a
Yep.
strong name. It's a
Yeah.
very strong name.
Very strong name, man. You
I
know.
think that you can't name everybody these names, man.
What about
Because
Bernard?
sound like somebody gonna have a hard time trusting. I'm just saying, like he might be all right. He might be all right. I'm not saying it. I mean, he might be all right. We started off pretty serious.
Bernard Mumford Jenkins.
Mhm. It's
But
one of
no,
those
what
things.
I'm saying is, bro, let me get back to what I was saying.
Yeah,
You want them to understand that
yeah,
you want to be well balanced and well versed in everything, and it's going to take a good mentality and understanding to do that. So for you to not take things for granted, and even for you to take things for granted, you kind of got to get a understanding of. So I use, for example, um, I remember a teacher who had somebody come in and speak to the kids about the stock market,
hmm
and the guy was explaining to them what kind of sneakers you got on. You got on Balenciagas, them nice. Yeah, how much? Yeah, these are $650. She's like, yeah. Do you know one share of the company that owns them is only $90? Right now, nobody ever did that with us. How many shares he could have bought for that one pair and owned them forever, and everybody's paying $650. You see what I'm saying? So let's just say the share was at $100 that day, and the sneakers was $650. He could buy 6.5 shares. Now,
yeah,
now
yeah.
that's a financial situation. A regular mental situation would be coachable.
Right.
Be coachable. Find a mentor. These people that you really look up to, try to find out what their path was. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like even if you use religion, everybody talks about how Jesus died on the cross, but they never really, like Pastor Dan used to say, they never talked about how he actually lived when he was living. Because we all not gonna
Right.
get hung on a cross.
Yeah.
But we supposed to look at the example of living. And if you in Nation of Islam or you study Islam, look how Muhammad was living. Don't worry about everything else. Look how that person was living, because that's what we supposed to be doing right now is living.
Right.
So just
Taking it
it's
for
just
granted.
It's right. So, you know, for a long time you had the big brother, big sister program and all that. I'm not saying all that stuff don't matter and it shouldn't still be around, but sometimes you just have to show them a different way because things get old. Everything has an
Yeah,
expiration.
everything. Nah,
So
I
come
agree
up
with
with a
you.
curriculum that they can understand that's going to show them to honestly reach their full potential. Like you always hear people say, "Oh, why they take the VOTEC programs outside of the schools?" Because of the funding. So they made school just be a basic thing.
And they didn't take them out of all of them. They took
No,
them
they
out of
didn't.
certain ones.
Certain
You know,
ones, maybe a lot of them in the urban community.
we know that our daughters went to tech schools. Period.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You know what I
So
mean?
that's how you know that. Like, bro, my thing is like I asked Nick the other day about a question about social media. I was like, one day they'll have a social media course in college. She said they have one now.
Yes, they do.
She said, yeah, they got one now. Like it's inevitable. It's too big in the world
Not to have it.
to not have it. Like it has too much of a place. It has a space in this world, so it's gonna have it. And
Hmm.
so when I ask you that question, right? Because to me, it's hard to teach the future based off history alone.
Right.
History has a place in it. Don't get me wrong. You should always know where you came from and know where you're going.
Hmm.
But if the foundational, premise of what you're going to be teaching is built on, history, you're kind of starting yourself in a limited capacity, right?
Right.
You got to always want to end things on a certain, like if you ever look at some of the best teachers, they find this way to be able to understand how the now needs to be part of the curriculum. They do not take for granted the things that are going to draw the most attention to our youth, right? So, like
Hmm.
for me, if I want to occupy the motivational space, there's no way in my mind that I can avoid the social media space. It's too much of a highway that people travel often, regardless of age. But if you're really trying to target, a younger audience, depending on what you're looking for or going for, you can't ignore it. You can't take that situation for granted
Hmm.
because if you do, you're going to miss out on a major opportunity to be able to, have an influence on it.
Right.
But it's just why that's why I asked you what the trick to that situation would be, or how would you grab their attention? You know, I look at a lot of videos, right, where it talks about like when you're editing and making content, and there's certain people that's a specialists in editing. They'll say that when it comes to certain videos, you should change the background or have something flash every 5 to 7 seconds.
Right.
And it says that because every 5 to 7 seconds, if you do that, it forces the person who's looking at it to readjust. It's
Hmm.
like a joke. It's like if you imagine every 5 to 7 seconds, somebody just plucks you. Yeah, you'd get used to the feeling of the pluck, but it would be enough for you to look away, come back to it. So with certain things, that's how the world works, in my opinion, right? So we take certain things for granted because of the fact that once again, we gotta get past the mindset that it needs to be easy, right? And it needs to
Hmm.
be, convenient. This is why I say all the time, success comes with a bit of inconvenience. Well, taking things for granted is you choosing to avoid the inconvenience to be successful.
Right.
Like somebody has to understand when they're getting ready to, if you're a person that's trying to educate people, you have to understand that you're going to have to kind of redefine how you talk and communicate and interact with people. If you don't, you're going to box yourself in and you're not going to be as effective,
Hmm.
right? So, like
Right.
with you as a DJ, you've had to adjust to the music. The music didn't have to adjust to you over the years.
Right.
It didn't work the other way. The crowds, they got younger in certain areas. Some crowds, they grew up with you. You never took for granted the one primary function in that situation as an entertainer and as a DJ is that it is your job to know
Hmm.
what people want from an entertainment perspective. You didn't take that for granted because if you did, guess what? You would have probably got written right out of that, out of that line of people who are still highly successful today,
Right.
you know? But before
Right.
we get any further into the conversation, man, we want to talk to you all about a company that can take care of all of your event planning needs. I ain't gonna stall it out. You let them know who it is. Listen, whether it's your first or your 50th birthday, that 25 years of service, if not more, retirement party, or the day that you and the love of your life share vows to become one, let Front and Center Events take care of all of your event planning needs. Sit back, put your feet up, and enjoy the show, where they truly keep you at the front and center of it all. That's www.fncevents.com. Head on over there today and get that party booked. Back to the show.
Front and
Absolutely.
center events. I mean, just
Absolutely.
just to piggyback off something you was talking about too, just like to teach the kids and everything. Like when we was in, you know, history. You said history is important, but you know, and you talked about how now in college it's a social media course. But I believe that social media course should actually be treated to be taught in this regular curriculum of regular schooling from elementary all the way up. You know what I
Right.
mean? Not just in
Right.
college. I mean, I can remember and I get it. I get the basis of it. You know, them talking to us in high school about the Revolutionary War. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's because we graduated from Trenton High and Washington on actually I'm looking at it now, December 26, 1776. Um, crossed the Delaware River to Trenton, defeating the Hessian troops. And I'm asking myself this question: why the hell was we still talking about 1776
It's a great question.
in 1776? Why was we still talking about 1776?
Uh, I mean, I had
Like,
a theory,
yeah, I
but
mean, I know we live in the city, and then you think about it. You know, we right here next to Philly,
mhm.
76ers, Independence
Yeah,
Day, all that type of stuff. This stuff. I'm not saying this stuff ain't important. I'm not saying
right,
that.
right. I get
But
it.
how does the Revolutionary War prepare me for the real world?
The contradictive term sometimes is history repeats itself.
Right.
So what they'll say is that we talk about these things and kind of reiterate them and bring them back up because in the event we see this again, we will be able to use history to maybe rewrite it in a different way.
I ain't using shit from 1776, man. No.
And I will say this: if we have not progressed
Since
since that
17.
time, I don't care how much history you know.
We might as well lose the war. Might as well lose.
I know might as well. I don't see how you win. Like if you're out there in a rowboat,
Yeah. Yeah, out
like if
there in a
you,
rowboat with a dude who looked like the guy on the dollar bill.
he's standing on the edge of the boat.
Yeah. you know, look, look. For the people at home, y'all can't see P right now. That's why you got to watch it on YouTube each and every Thursday night at 7
Definitely
p.m.
got to check it out.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I agree with you, and I see what you're saying. But I think a lot of times it's goes back to what we talked about earlier in terms of time being taken for granted. We should now be bringing the present more to the forefront, and it should be a bigger portion of the curriculum for the kids. Now, no matter what, the world moves so quick, it's kind of hard to teach the future. So, starting back in 1776 or whatever year it was,
Mm-hmm.
I really don't see how that's going to, propel them into the future being able to deal with it. Once again, does history have a place? It has a place, and it existed when
Right.
it did. But should more of the energy be put into what things that's going to help them now? Yeah, I think that's why people. Here's my theory. I think the reason why some kids dislike the ability of learning or education
Right.
is because it does not serve what they are currently living in,
Right.
right? A
Mm-hmm.
kid can tell you how to put things on Facebook and load things up in this. And you got people who are, learning how to do code and all these different things that are technical, but you've heard it 1,000 times over. You might hear a person turn around and say, man, I don't know how to do that, man. We're going to have to ask somebody 12 or 13 years old on how to be able to do this or edit this or put that up there, do this, that, and the third. It's because it's part of their world. I don't understand why we spend as much time as we do, even outside of school. With us, with our history, right? We'll turn around and say things like, you couldn't have made it when we came up."
Right.
But they're not coming up then. They're coming up now. And although that may be factual in terms of what we were exposed to in our upbringing, I don't see how it helps now.
Right.
Like, I don't see where, if they're not doing something that's going to be beneficial to them, that we want to bring up why they would have not been beneficial or not been, in a position to succeed back then, when then is gone.
Absolutely.
Even the basic fundamental things. Like, we already live in a microwave world. A lot of us, when we came up, we didn't have no microwave. When you wanted to reheat something, it went in the oven. There was a generation before us, no microwave. They might have had toaster ovens. You know, they don't know anything about certain things like kerosene heaters. We've evolved.
Mm-hmm. Right.
There's a reason why that stuff happened when it happened then. I don't see how you're helping anybody if you're taking for granted that that you got to live in the now.
Mm-hmm.
We so busy trying to suppress. Oh man, I ain't subscribing to this new age music. It's a language. It's an art form. Maybe you don't like it. It's cool.
Yeah.
I ain't subscribing to a lot of this different stuff, but you missing out. You putting yourself in a box.
Mm-hmm.
That's my point on that situation. We take things for granted. How? You turned around and you knew, right? Me and you had a conversation, and you were saying about how you did something back when you were 15, 16 years old. You had a concept dealing with business, and
Right.
you actually succeeded in that situation. And as
Well,
time went on, you didn't continue to do it at the same level,
right.
right? Because you were growing up, things were changing, your life, you was getting older. And you think back to it now, your mind went right back to that point in history. And you
Mm-hmm.
said, clearly not something new that I have to learn. I learned it then. I knew it then.
Yeah. I wasn't 15. I think it was I
That's
think
what were you, about 17, 18?
I was 18. No, I was 15 when I actually started really DJing when I getting paid for. But I was 18 when I did that because they wouldn't have gave me no credit at 15.
Right. So
Yeah.
18 years old.
Yeah.
You was old enough to get credit. You had a
Mm-hmm.
game plan. You executed the game plan to perfection.
Right.
Fast forward. Now in your 40s, you're looking to expand on your business and continue to build on the things. What's the first thing that you did? Thought back to a time when you executed a plan that you had.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're going to implement that. But it's cool because even though you went through that at that time, as time went on, you still evolved. But you had that part of history that you could use, which is cool, to be able to say, no, I know I did this before. It's going to work again.
Right.
All I'm saying is at the end of the day, man, you can't take nothing for granted. You can't take history for granted, but you also can't take the present and the future for granted.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of got to find that thing that makes you tick, and you got to work on that.
Absolutely.
That's how I feel about that situation anyway, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I don't know if you want to get into some would you rather questions or
Yeah, of course.
uh,
Welcome to another episode of Would You Rather, here live on the Porch Podcast. Look at my eyes wander back and forth. Looks kind of stupid. Let's get to the show.
okay. Welcome to another episode of Would You Rather, where I ask you a series of questions, and eventually, in most cases, I get an answer.
Get an answer.
Okay. Would you rather have to read aloud every word you read or sing everything you say out loud?
I'll sing because I do it now. Just in case I don't get something to eat tonight, you might need another place to live at, girl.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Whoa.
you know what I mean?
Would you rather be unable to move your body every time it rains or not be able to stop moving while the sun is out?
Not be able to stop moving while the sun is out, probably. I ain't
Imagine
fucking with
just being
none of it
stuck.
either. You just be walking and then you start walking and then when the rain start to come, you start to slow down. Like, oh shit, it's about to rain, yo. How you know? It's my shit, my left side going in. You know what I mean? Do do
You
do.
stuck.
And then you just
Yeah,
stuck in the rain like this.
yeah. Yeah. They wonder why. They wonder why when the clouds come in, you just take off running.
Like,
You just take off running.
and you think you running fast and you
You bionic Manning. $6 million Manning. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? All right. Would you rather have all dogs try to attack you when they see you,
not come on with the
or
bullshit, man. Come on,
or
man.
all birds try to attack you when they see you?
Man, I'm just never going outside. What the fuck is wrong with you, man? The bird, I'm gonna go with I go with the dogs before the birds. You not escaping no bird, B. You
Do
not
you
outrunning
imagine
no bird, man.
when you go outside, every dog that's around you just try to run up on you?
P, I can get on top of a car. You're not escaping a bird. It's like Peter Griffin. Every time he seen that big ass, what was it, big ass rooster? You know, they be like,
Start banging.
I never understood why. Like I did, like
He
they
ain't
don't
like
even
it.
know why they did it, man.
It was on site. They see each other. You know what it
Yeah.
is. We catch up. You know what I mean? You know. Hey man, would you rather be compelled to high five everyone you meet, or compelled to give wedgies to anyone in a green shirt?
High five everybody I meet, man. I don't want to play with nobody tailpipe, man.
All right. Would you rather have skin that changes color based on your emotions, or tattoos that appear all over your body depicting what you did yesterday?
Emotion change, yeah. I don't need motherfuckers to know what I did yesterday. It's
So
my
you
business.
know you get swole. You just turn red. I mean like Hellboy red.
Face be like this.
Uh, all right, man. Would you rather randomly time travel 20 plus or 20 negative years, in the past, obviously? Every time you fart, teleport to a different place on Earth or land, on land, not water, every time you sneeze.
Wait a minute. If I fart, I teleport 20 years back
Yeah, or forward.
or forward. No, I don't have control over it. But
And
if
if you
I
sneeze,
but if I sneeze, I teleport.
anywhere on land, but not water.
I gotta go with the sneeze because I don't sneeze every day.
Could you imagine that though, bro? You
I
just
fart every day. I'm telling you that now. I don't sneeze every day. You know what I mean?
okay. Would you rather there be a perpetual water balloon war going on in your city/town, or a perpetual food fight? Like you just random. You get out, you go to Wawa. Yo, they out there. I mean, bro, they throwing them. They don't care who coming through.
Food fight or a water balloon fight?
Yeah.
How about I just fight? Like I don't want to get hit with no food or no water, man.
Would you rather become twice as strong when both of your fingers are stuck in your ears, or crawl twice as fast, or crawl twice as fast as you can run?
So if I put my finger in my ears, I'm like bionic, man.
Super fast. You can just run.
No, you said the fingers in the ear make you strong.
You just strong. I meant to say, yeah, strong.
you
Or
I feel like you lying over here with those questions because you ain't.
well, no. Either way, it's the fingers are stuck in your ears. The choices are, when they're stuck in your ears, to either be extremely strong or twice as fast as you can run.
Oh,
That's why I
crawl,
said what I said.
crawl twice as fast as you can run.
Right.
So what you telling me is either I'm gonna
Either way, your fingers got to be in your
yeah.
ears.
So either way. So, but if my fingers in my ears, how can I use my hands to be strong in the first place?
I don't know. This is what I'm saying, bro. Like I don't know.
Still going with the fingers. I don't need it for the strokey dope, man.
Okay. Would you rather
Boom.
30, would you rather 30 butterflies instantly appear from nowhere every time you sneeze, or one very angry squirrel appear from nowhere every time you cough?
I gotta go with the 30 butterflies, man. Butterfly, butterfly, hey, pretty butterfly.
You imagine if you cough and it's just mad squirrel. He just show up.
Yeah, cause I cough at work. He just hit the desk. He running all around and shit.
What's up, E? What's going on? Yep. Yeah. Tony Baker's down.
Yeah,
Grab him and hold him.
yeah. He grab him, hold him.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Mm.
Would you rather eat a sandwich made from four ingredients in your fridge, chosen at random, or eat a sandwich made by a group of your friends from four ingredients in your fridge? Basically, it seems like it's the same thing.
Say that shit again, man. What you say?
Would you rather eat a sandwich made from four ingredients in your fridge, chosen at random, or eat a sandwich made by a group of your friends from four ingredients in your fridge?
Man, I ain't fucking with none of that, man.
Right,
I don't want
right.
nobody
That's
touching me.
tough.
Yeah, that's some stupid shit right there.
Yeah. Would you rather be inside a portable toilet when it's pushed over, or die 3 weeks earlier than you normally would have?
Put me in the portable toilet.
Yeah,
Push it
man.
over.
Yeah.
I don't want to die 3 weeks earlier, but I guarantee you, I'm gonna smack the shit out of somebody when I get up out that toilet.
All right. Last one. Would you rather every third thought that you have be be out loud, or never be alone, no matter what you are doing?
Sometimes you gotta be alone, man. So I go with the third thought. You know what I mean? Just be sitting there.
Hey, man.
McDonald's, like you be like, what?
You know what I'm
You know what I
saying?
mean?
Just start
X
yelling.
videos. Wait, what happened?
Whoa.
Sit
Yeah,
there,
yeah. Yeah.
hmm wagging
I
over
see.
there. Wait, what? Popsicles.
That's what I'm saying. Every third thought,
You know what I
you
mean?
just you just randomly say it.
Yeah, just be like, just be sitting there, be like, you know what I mean? You know, Timberlands. What the fuck is going on? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. Tank top.
Tank top, yeah, cowboy hat. You know what I mean? Transformer.
Yeah, see, all that
Yeah.
really happened. That's crazy.
Like
That was-
titties, titty.
Damn, man. Take us out of here, man. Take us out of here, man. Come on, E, man.
Huh? Yeah, over there. Like what?
Over there.
Yeah. Powder. Wait. Whoa. Let's
I
get it.
take it on that.
That was another episode of this or that. Let's get back to the Porch Podcast.
Oh man. Woo. You know, one thing I definitely don't take for granted is an opportunity, man.
Yeah.
Sit with my brother on the porch and do what we
Yeah.
do, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't take that for granted at all, man. And I
Hello.
hope that, the people out there who's been rocking out with us all of these episodes know that we don't take them for granted either.
We don't.
We want to make sure that y'all know, man, that we thank you guys for tuning in each and every week.
Each and every week.
Whether it's through your favorite podcasting streaming services, or, hopefully it's both. Hopefully you start off the day by listening and you say, oh, I got to go 7 o'clock on Thursday and make sure I check out my boys and see what them face expressions was looking like. However you've been rocking out with us, man, we appreciate you. Like we say each and every week, man. You can find us on iHeartRadio,
Yeah, forgot.
Spotify. Just trying to see which one I wanted to start with.
Yeah.
Amazon Music, Audible,
Mm-hmm.
Radio Public,
Mm-hmm.
Stitcher,
Mm-hmm.
Red Circle,
Mm-hmm. Apple
you know,
Podcast.
Apple
Google
Podcasts,
Podcast.
Google Podcasts. Very good. And of course, like he says, you can see our handsome faces each and every week at 7 p.m. on YouTube. at
Mm-hmm.
simply the porch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as I say each and every week, man, tell a friend to tell a friend. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when all of the content is dropping.
Right.
It's been episode 102, man. You know, it's been a great one as always.
Right.
You got anything for the people, my brother?
Man, just stay happy, man. Just stay happy, stay focused, stay keep your eyes on the prize. If you going through any type of, heavy thoughts, depression, don't stick with them. But having them will make you human, but don't stick with them, man. Pay attention to what the goal is at hand. Be great. Somebody loves you. Hey, you love yourself. You got people that count on you. Hey, count on yourself. You know what I mean? You're never alone. Hey, I appreciate you. That's it. Because you
Absolutely.
listening, you watching. So this has been episode 102. And we appreciate y'all, man. Keep watching, keep subscribing, keep locking it in, Keep supporting the other channels, the raining rainies on the rise, you know what I mean?
That's it.
P
That's it.
Original with his motivational Mondays and, you
Mm-hmm.
know, um, thought of the day? Food for thought. I'm sorry.
So we
Food for
got we
thought.
got food for thoughts, quote of the days,
Days, course,
motivational Mondays.
yeah, and of
You
course
know,
keep supporting Influence Entertainment, man, for us to take care of y'all.
absolutely,
What y'all need, what y'all need,
absolutely.
Hey,
I
hey,
leave
everything's
y'all.
positive. You was waiting for somebody to say, yeah, we got cocaine heroes. Never heard of them. You know what I mean?
Nah,
Never heard of them at all.
nah, nah, not at
So
all. I'm
yeah,
gonna leave y'all with a quote, man, on our way out of here,
of
man.
course he is. Of course he is. He's
Gotta leave
right.
y'all with a quote. At some point in life, everything will be perfect. Until then, laugh through the confusion, smile through the tears, and keep reminding yourself that everything happens for a reason. Tap
Right.
into your greatness. Y'all be good, man. We look forward to seeing y'all next week.
And never do blow. Thank y'all. This has been the Porch Podcast. We love y'all.
Hey, peace, man.
All right, man. Peace.